Hello. There was once a man who wanted to become Prime Minister. He did various jobs in politics, even becoming Mayor of London. Eventually, his wish was granted, and he became the most powerful man in the country. And then global disaster struck, and he found himself leading during the most difficult time the country had seen since the Second World War. He'd been dreaming of this role for years, and when it finally happened, it was very different from what he'd expected. He realised that all that time he'd been hoping to be Prime Minister, he hadn't realised what he'd really been asking for. Now, we don't know if that's how Boris Johnson feels about the past 2 years that he's been Prime Minister, but he certainly wouldn't have known the scale of some of the difficulties that he would have to lead the country through, and some of the challenges that he was going to face in his own personal life and health. You'll probably be relieved to know that I'm not going to get all political on you. I'm not going to analyse Boris's premiership. But his experience does remind me of Jesus' words to James and John, when they basically told Jesus that they wanted to sit at his left and right. They were basically asking for the most honoured positions alongside him. The places of influence, the places of power, the places of glory. And Jesus' response to them? You don't know what you're asking for. He explains to them something of how costly it will be for them if they want those honoured positions. Can they drink the cup he'll drink from? Can they face the baptism with which he'll be baptised? Ultimately, can they face the same levels of sacrifice and suffering that he will? Will they be willing to die for others? And even if they can, the positions that they want aren't Jesus's to grant. That is down to God the Father to decide. When they realise what James and John have been discussing with Jesus, the other 10 disciples are angry with them. How dare they try to be the favourites? How dare they seek out privilege and power over the rest of them? I suspect their indignation had quite a lot to do with wishing that they had asked for this privilege themselves. Yet again, now you'd think that they had trouble understanding this or something. Yet again, Jesus explains to them that true power, true greatness, comes not from being in charge and getting others to do what you tell them. True power and greatness comes from serving others. True importance is found in doing things for those who can't do anything for you in return. Again, Jesus points forward to the time when he will die for others. We live in a world that values fame and fortune. A few years ago, a survey found that 1 in 4 people in their 20s would happily quit their jobs in order to become famous. We have this idea that fame and the money and influence that go alongside it will make us happy and bring us fulfilment. But levels of loneliness, depression and suicide are higher amongst people who are well known than among the general population. We tend to treat differently those who are famous or who we perceive to have power and those who don't. Even if we don't mean to, it's so subtle. We like that sense of being connected, even in a very tenuous way, to someone with influence. Those claims to fame, those connections to important people that we just casually drop into conversation. The way we might try to get near to that popular person at a social event. I know I do it at times. But as we know, God's kingdom is a topsy-turvy one. God's priorities are often upside down to how the world sees them. Today's gospel passage reminds us once again of this. Just like the disciples appeared to need regular reminders, so do we. If we want to be great in God's eyes, it's not how well we're connected or how much money we have that matters. What does matter is how we treat those without power and influence, the most vulnerable. How we use the money that we have. What does matter is how willing we are to serve, to put ourselves out for others, to make sacrifices, not expecting anything in return. Not because if we do X, then we might be able to expect someone to do Y for us. Over the past couple of weeks, while we've been ill with COVID, we have had so many offers of help and support. Too many offers to take up. Now, I'm hoping people haven't done that because I'm a priest and will be able to influence God for them and get them into heaven more easily. But seriously, we have felt so blessed by people's kindness and generosity at a time when we've not been able to offer anything in return. It doesn't have to be big things. Someone brought our bin in on Monday morning for us. I have no idea who it was. I was asleep at the time. But someone went out of their way to help us, to do something kind, to serve us. And it made not only a practical difference to us, but it also blessed us through showing that someone cared, someone had thought of us. True greatness is serving others, putting the needs of others before ourselves, thinking about what would benefit someone else rather than what would benefit me. We have so many opportunities to be great. How we treat others we disagree with. How we treat others who can't do anything for us. How we challenge and hold to account the people who do have power and influence. How we use the money, time, energy and skills that we have. The 101 things we could do just to make a difference to someone, to grow God's kingdom, to bring a little bit more light into the world. It's not wrong to have power, to want power, or even to try to get more power. But with power, privilege, and greatness comes great responsibility. Using the power we have to serve others is important. The problems come when we use power to serve ourselves. Someone was once talking to me about a lady who had recently died. She had made such a difference to so many people. Praying for them, listening to them, encouraging them, cooking for them, loving them in so many different ways. All without any fanfare or showiness. She just got on with doing things for others. As we were remembering her, her friend said to me that they couldn't think of anyone who better fitted the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." What a wonderful tribute. What a wonderful way to be remembered. How we spend our lives is up to us. What and who we prioritise is up to us to a large extent, isn't it? May we all follow the example of Jesus, seeking to be great in God's eyes, seeking to do great things for the benefit of others and for God's glory. Where could you start today?